Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, wherever you are listening to this. I'm hoping that everything is working and uh, everyone is having a great day. Welcome to Star Wars Through the Ages. And there's a picture on the screen for those of you that are in the YouTube chat. I just wanted to honor my mom that passed away. And last week was we had her funeral. But she always encouraged us kids to dream, to be creative, and to really push on through and to make sure that everything happens there. Do the best that we can, and no matter what, she'd be proud of us. So I wanted to put that on there. And here I am with my ugly mug. Hopefully I won't break your screens, cameras, or anything else. But yes, it is Friday morning here in Roswell, New Mexico. It's a wonderful day. It is already 85 degrees outside. So it's going to be nice and toasty today. So, hey, how's everybody doing? Good morning, Mr. Rez. Good morning, Rachel. Yes, I saw that you were firsty. But as always, things carry on. We plug away. First, as always, the news. So let's just make sure that everyone goes to farfarawaynews.com for all the latest and greatest news regarding Star Wars, our beloved franchise. Today at Far Far Away News, they have a lot of articles about the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. They have a lot of things in there as far as original content. They cover a Thrawn book review that's on the front page today. The quote of the day, I don't know. One chapter has closed for you, Ezra Bridger. This is a new day, a new beginning. Fulcrum. And of course, on this day in Star Wars history, Gareth Edwards and Gary Whitta are announced as the director and screenwriter, respectively, for Star Wars standalone film set to be released in December 16th, 2016. So that's the news for today. All right, let me get that out of there. And there we go. All right. So, yeah, like I said, it's been an interesting last week. I really didn't get a whole lot of Star Wars in, but family first, as everyone says. But today in Star Wars Therapy, we are going to cover fandom. Fandom happens in all aspects. We have a lot of different ways that we express our fandom. And in that, I also have a special guest that I'm going to bring on. All right. And my special guest today is Ross Sambridge. Hello, Ross. How are you?
Hi. How you doing? I'm very well, thank you. How you doing?
Oh, you know what? It's going to be a great day. It's a great day to talk Star Wars and everything. Man, it's a pleasure to finally get a chance to talk to you face to face rather than just typing back and forth. We've been typing back and forth for a while now, so I'm glad to get this opportunity.
Well, it's great to be on your show, so thank you very much indeed.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I do a series here that's called Star Wars: The Therapy. There's a lot of things in my life that have kind of gone sideways, here and there. But my main anchor point is Star Wars, and from our discussions, it seems like you were a pretty good Star Wars fan yourself, and we share a lot of similar aspects there. So, what's your earliest Star Wars memory?
Well, I think, like a lot of people, when they're 6 or 7 and they get to see New Hope on the television, probably around Christmas or Easter time, and you just sit there and you're in awe. Really, you haven't seen anything like this before, um, and you just it's the first time. I think the first time you watch it, it just naturally flows, and then you maybe watch it again, and you really get into more of the characters. And every time you watch it, there's always something new to watch. And then they bring out Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. So I think just watching the whole lot together is just fantastic. So and then obviously you collect the toys and the memorabilia and the pictures and the posters. And when you're at school, people are quoting the films in the playground, and it's. I don't think there's ever been any other films as like that, as in depth like that, really. So that's when I first got into it. It was like, of course, I try to emulate these characters and things, and play with friends, and we have arguments of which characters we want to be, and maybe fighting and everything else. But that's what the film's all about. It's all about imagination. It's all about telling your own story. So, yeah, I guess that's my first sort of memory of the actual films.
Yeah, see, and that's awesome because just like you said, I started off with A New Hope, and that just ushered in a new creative, fantastical side that no matter what I was doing, it always came to the forefront. Whether I was just playing with Legos and trying to build before they came out with the Lego kits, try to build your
Mm.
own star destroyers or vehicles, and
It's a
you
lot
know
harder, isn't it?
yeah, it never, it was always a little off center, a little off to the side, and colors never matched, and
But
but
your imagination made it work. You see,
oh,
what was in your head. It might look like a pile of rubbish in front of you, but it was actually a Death Star you were building. It might have looked square, but it was definitely round in your head.
oh, absolutely. And then came the figures, and I would have. We had an abandoned lot next door to our house, and I would have battles between Star Wars figures and GI Joe figures.
Wow.
And at the time, fireworks weren't illegal, and any kid could go to the drugstore and buy some black cats, and so I would set them up all around, and in the dirt, and just would blow up all these figures, and whoever had the most whole figures left was who won the war that day. So
And who would have
uh,
thought it that 30 years later, all these little figures are worth so much money?
oh,
Oh,
if I had only half the collection that I had, I would take my Darth Vader carrying case to Sears, because that was the closest place to get any of the figures, and I would take an inventory. All right, I have this one, and this one. I need to buy this one, and they weren't that expensive at the time, and so I would walk into the store, and immediately I'd come back to the car, and I'd rip open the packaging and put the figures back into the case where they belonged. Now, if I had known now, I would have
the
vacuum
cardboard
sealed
for
up.
one of the actual
Yeah,
figures.
yeah, absolutely. But
I've still kept. I mean, I've still got a few original uh, figures. I think most of them come from Return of the Jedi. But I've still got a Rancor. Still got a Rancor. Still got a 80. I think it's 83 model of Chewbacca, um, and a few other little like Luke skull. I think I obtained an original Darth Vader as well with the flip out lightsaber, the orange flip out lightsaber.
the one
So
in the yeah.
in the arm, yeah. Which when they first came out, and I was like, so I was born in 9, sort of 6 or 7, I guess. And you start playing them, and they just end up breaking. They lose the cape, and then the flip out thing would fall off. and you just end up just having him just holding a candle or something. I've still got him, but then I did a convention and they were just selling these little ones in packets, and I thought, well, okay, there's £5. I'll just buy myself a little figure, and then yeah. And I know I'm 41, but it doesn't matter. Age has nothing to do with it when it comes to Star Wars. So you can be 51, 41, 31, 11, whatever, and yeah. So nobody should frown at you when you want to buy a Darth Vader. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be 45 this year, and I don't mind going down to the store and buying a Star Wars figure or a Lego kit, and the clerk asks you, "Oh, is that for your kid?" No, that's for me.
That's
Yeah,
me. It's got
you
enough.
know,
It's got enough toys. I want it for me.
right? Yeah, it's so. But so you mentioned collecting.
Yes.
So other than figures, is there anything else that you collect from Star Wars?
Well, because of being lucky enough to be invited to Comic Cons, when you are sitting there with your fellow Star Wars actors or other film actors, you kind of get their autographs. So I've kind of been collecting a few of my favourite autographs, that sort of thing. And so no, I do collect them. I collect some posters, some other pictures. Just looking around the room, I'm just yeah, it's mainly the Star Wars. Mainly Star Wars is all like the kind of the big thing. Um, but just I guess the autographs are the main things that I collect now. I've got many, many, many pictures and not enough wall to put them on. So.
That's cool. There's just something about an autograph that is I don't know. It's special.
Hmm.
And I don't have very many autographs. Um, for I don't know if I have one autograph from Star Wars, from an actor in Star Wars, and that was Dominic Pace, that was in The Mandalorian.
Right.
Uh, and but I have other autographs from wrestlers that I've met. I'm a big sports fan, so I have a
Okay.
few sports autographs that I really enjoy. But yeah, there's just something personal about having someone sign something
Hmm.
that yeah, it's just it's almost beyond words.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm also quite a big horror fan as well.
mm,
So I was lucky enough to meet Tobe Hopper, who played one of the Jasons,
mhm.
and he had a photograph with me and Attila Badger, who played Sugwa, and he was in the middle of us, and he said, "Oh, take a photograph of us three together." Didn't manage to get the photograph, but he did do an autograph for me, and it's great. It's nice. It's just as I say, the people you meet are mostly 99% of the time are really really lovely, and they're happy to do a signature for you, and it's yeah, it's a nice feeling to have it on your wall and say, well, you know what, I was there when he did that for me. He's a lovely guy to meet and a lovely person to meet, and
Mhm.
just yeah, it's good. So that's why I love doing autographs for people, because you get to meet the fans and they get to meet the person who either played the character, and it makes the whole process just look more. There's a lot more longevity to it than just watching a film.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, do you have a favorite Star Wars film?
I can't really quote my own, can I? Uh, I mean, I'd be biased if I said it was The Lost Jedi or Solo. Um, See, I like them all. I like them all.
Yeah, that's a very
I
valid answer.
there's there's elements in each one that stand out,
Hmm.
and so that's what makes them the films that they are for me. So I can't really just go, oh, I'll have that one over this one. I can't choose Empire over New Hope, for instance. It's just not the way I Well, I think so. All 9 of them, plus the side ones are great. The Solo's very good. I really, really enjoy Solo and the Last Jedi. They were brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way that I love all of them, and I'll watch any of them at any time. Uh, I normally, if I do a ranking, it's whatever movie I watched last is the one that's normally on the top, and then that's just because I just saw it, and so I don't. I love all of them. It's there's certain aspects of some of them I don't like. There's a lot more aspects of all of them that I do like. From just background things to just on-screen camera stuff that just jump out to everybody. There's always something to find and something to love in all of these series. So
Yes,
do
that's
you,
what it is.
apart from movies, do you read any of the books? Do you watch like the Mandalorian series, the Clone Wars, any of the animated stuff?
Yeah, no, I've seen a few of the episodes of the Clone Wars and uh, the animated stuff, and then for the Mandalorian, I've seen a couple of episodes. I haven't seen them all. I haven't seen the first series yet, entirety. So I think it harks back to uh, the more live action, but there's you can tell with the Mandalorian there's less CGI stuff in it than it's a bit like New Hope, how the effects of the original New Hope before
Mm-hmm.
the CGI stuff was put on top. So it's kind of the old school type of stuff there, which is great. Um, as I say, I haven't really seen all of the Mandalorian yet. I really must watch it to catch up with everybody else. I feel kind of bad
Well,
that I haven't seen it all.
I think you guys got it later than we did here in the States. But it is a fantastic series that I like. And you're correct. It has a little bit of everything in there. It does have a
Mm,
few CGI things, but they really went back to that practical effects that
yeah.
made everything seem so much more believable than then oh yeah, well, that's CGI. We know that's CGI, and it's like it gets to a point of, well, what's real and what's just what's
Well,
computer graphics.
you say what's real. I saw. I think I'm sure it's a documentary about it, and they filmed it all in a studio, and they had like the mountains and everything was on a big video screen in
Mhm.
front of them. So it's all in house, or most of it's in house. So, which I think is incredible visual effects to do. It's amazing what you can do nowadays. You can bring the
Yeah,
dark side in.
yeah, it's. I mean, if you think of, I remember some of the documentary stuff that they had for A New Hope when they went to Tanzania to shoot the scenes, and the dust storms and just the hot weather, and it put a lot of delays on it. Well, now they could take pictures of it, put on an LED board, and make it look like that you're really there and you're in the comfort of a studio. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
So you've made mention a couple of times of um, getting into Star Wars movies and being in a couple of the Star Wars movies.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I
So
mention that? I do apologise.
just a little,
Yeah.
and that is super cool. How did you get? I mean, all right. So were you an actor before the Star Wars movies, or or was that what really started your career?
Um, I've done some acting work beforehand. I've done a couple of TV programs in the United Kingdom, um, but I guess Star Wars is probably the biggest thing I've done. Back in 2014, I joined an agency. They were looking for very, very tall people to join up, so I did, and got put forward for The Force Awakens. Um, did that as I went to the audition for that. Didn't get it, but they had my details on paper, should we say, and a book, and just asked if I'd like to come down for a fitting for a film called at the time Space Fair. So I went down the fitting, and it turned out to be Star Wars. It turned out to be The Last Jedi. So as I say, if I hadn't joined this company, then I don't think I would have been on Star Wars, to be honest. So I've got that company to thank a lot. So I don't know if I can mention the company on here, if that's all right.
You can mention anything.
It's so small. It's a small, short and tall casting agency, and they're fantastic. They're based in Wales, but they're brilliant, and it's helmed by a lady called Lisa Osmond. So I've got a lot to thank her for that. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, beforehand, before we went live, you and I were chatting, and I had was telling you that your name just really sounded familiar when it was brought up, and I had just not too long ago, within a few months ago, had watched a documentary that you were in.
Yeah.
And did you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Oh, I don't mind. So the documentary was called Superhuman Giants, and 13 years ago it came out now, so 2007, and it was brought about because I'm a member of the Tall Persons Club, United Kingdom, and they just wanted some tall people to be on it to be part of the documentary because the late Chris Greener. His height was 7'6", and his height had been overtaken by, now sadly, a late guy called Neil Pingleton, who was 7'7", and so they just wanted people to talk about being tall, what the sort of effects growing up being tall in today's society, and it did kind of like answer a good few questions that people thought, well, he's tall, he stands out, but not necessarily for all the right reasons. But we made sure that people could understand that being tall, short, fat, thin, it doesn't matter. We're all exactly the same. We're on this earth. We're all people. We're all literally equal to each other. It's just some of us are taller, some of us are shorter, and likewise. So it did help in that matter. It's just a shame that Chris and Neil are sadly not with us anymore. I have met now the new tallest person in Britain, a guy called Paul Sturgis, and he makes me look short. So, but no, he's a lovely guy too. So, and he's actually on the same casting agency as well. So it's lovely. I like a lot of the Star Wars actors as well, actually. So it's good. So it was good. It was a good documentary to do, and I'm so glad it still gets aired. So I still get people even coming up to me going, "Oh, I saw you on the telly," and I said, "Yeah, you've changed a bit." I said, "Well, it has been 13 years ago," and they said, "No, I only saw it last night." So it was I say it's good to do at the time, and
I think I watched it on YouTube. I love documentaries, so I just type in documentary in the search bar, and it pulls up a list of them, and I just press play, and I listen to that as the way that I work. I do drafting and engineering for an oil and gas company, and so what I do is I'll be working on my computer and I'll have my headphones on, and I can listen to that and separate and just not really think about work and just get it done. And that's when that popped up was there. And occasionally I'll switch over to YouTube. I'll take a break from work and watch the thing. And I was so taken in with that episode Uh, that
Well,
and that when your name was brought up, I was like, oh yeah, that
I'm
it's so
sure I've known the
cool.
guy.
Yeah, that that,
Yes,
that
no,
that's
it was.
great.
It's cool. The
Um,
same year, I must say, the same year, I was actually because it kind of connects with Star Wars in a way because it was the 30th anniversary of Star Wars, and I was living in Bristol, and there was a memorabilia shop who had invited Peter Mayhew and his wife Angie down to do some signing, and they I popped in and they said, "Oh, you're very tall. Are you local?" I said, "Well, yeah, I live around the corner." They said, "Well, we've got this event coming on next week, and we've got Peter Mayhew coming down. We just need someone to play Chewbacca." And before they said anything else, I said, "Yes, I'll do it." So I just said, "Yes, I'll be fine." So I got to actually to dress up as in a Chewbacca costume and walk around and have photographs taken with members of the public and Peter was there signing, and yes, it was lovely. It was a fantastic thing to be a part of, and I just thought, well, if that's as close as being anything to do with Star Wars, then I'll die a happy man. Um, so, yeah.
well, as fortune have it, that wouldn't be the last time that you put on a Wookiee suit.
No, no, I say I've been very, very lucky and very fortunate, and it's I say working on the Last Jedi. That's always going to be with me. But working on Solo, being because I said, going back to watching Chewbacca on screen as a 7-year-old, thinking this is the sort of thing I want to do. I want to get into some form of acting, or if I could be an actor, I'd love to be on Star Wars. I'd love to do this sort of thing. And so, yes, putting that Wookiee suit on for the very first time, becoming what I always wanted to be. I don't think they could actually. I don't think they've actually made up a word to describe the feeling I had. It was just pure joy and pure exhilarance. I couldn't believe I couldn't stop laughing and smiling under the mask. I was just loving every single second of it. And I'm sure I can speak for the other guys, for Attila and for Paul Davis and Matt Tyler, who were the other Wookiee slaves on Solo. Um, I guess that every single day they were smiling too, and they've become their brothers, Wookiee brothers, on the screen and also off the film as well. And I'm still in contact with them as well. So it's lovely being a part of all that union together. So,
That
and I've got it.
that's awesome.
I mean, the
Uh,
picture behind me.
it's,
Actually, I've got it. Just got it. The picture behind me has got us three together on the set. At the very top.
oh, awesome.
Yeah. So that's actually from the book, the solo, making the solo book. So yeah. So I was just, as I said, it's sharing such a fantastic, sharing a fantastic experience. It's just something that'll always stay with me. So yeah.
That's it kind of touches on a question that was asked. I put out a few feelers. I'm part of a network of podcasters that we always collaborate together. We throw ideas back and forth, and we ask questions. When we have guests on, hey, I have this guest coming on. Any questions that you would like, like to ask. And one of them was from Roe from the Scarif podcast, and he asked, how or what does it feel like to now be part of the Star Wars universe? Not just as a fan, but as a creator, because you created a character and brought that to life on screen. So how does that feel?
Uh, well, it feels absolutely wonderful to be honest. I think how I can really answer this question is when I going back to the Last Jedi for a second. When I was sitting on the throne for the very first time and seeing all the crew, and then seeing Adam Driver come on the set, and Daisy Ridley, and then meeting Andy Serkis, and just sitting there in all in the gold robes, and I'm going, oh my god, I'm on Star Wars. This is Star Wars, and I had to try and get out of my head that I'm actually doing a job. I like to just think that okay, this is Star Wars, yes, okay, but don't let it show on your face that you're extremely excited that this is Star Wars. You have to pretend you're actually, I don't know, doing something else completely, so you can just focus on what you're doing. But it's extremely hard, you know. Um, so, and then the following year, running around Kessel as a Wookiee, you try not to stop yourself and going, okay, am I really here? Am I really? I have to pinch myself to, I'm actually doing it. So it is a wonderful, wonderful feeling, and every day was a joy. I know it's cliche, but every day was a joy to be on there, and you meet so many people. You get to sit and talk with so many other actors who've been in the industry a lot longer than you had, and they've done a heck of a lot of more stuff than you, and it's just fascinating. It is literally a dream come true. So that's how I feel. I'm sure that's the feeling for a lot of other people as well.
That's and yeah, I can only imagine. There's a scene in Solo, and I believe it's a scene that you're front and center on, and the slaves have just been liberated, and you guys come running out of I guess the large door, and it kind of pans back, and I believe it's you that's there in the center, and you kind of raise your hands, and it's like a triumph scene, and
Right.
I,
It depends because there's two of us. There's myself and Paul that ran out first,
mhm,
and Paul is the yellowy, fair-skinned Wookiee carrying a drill. Okay, so there's that bit, and then I'm to his right of him,
yeah,
coming out. If I remember correctly. Yeah. So then you've got a few slaves, and then you've got Chewbacca. So you've got Sugbar, then you've got Chewbacca, then you've got another Wookiee, Matt. So it all depends on which one you mean, but I mean we were all roaring, and it's like escaping, and like escaping our captors and stuff, and so it could have easily been either myself or one of the other guys, but yeah, if it really depends on what version of the film you see as well, because a lot of the things got cut, so it all depends really
mm.
on whereabouts it is. But I imagine it might be mine. It might be me. Yeah.
And I thought I saw it pointed out on. I thought you had it circled where it was a picture and it showed that you had circled that this was you on there. So I was like, it was a still. Then I
Oh, I
went
know.
back.
Sorry. Yes, you mean I do apologise. Yes. Yes. On my Twitter page.
Yes,
You mean?
yes,
Yes, I do apologise. Yes. No. Yeah. No. That is me. That's behind Paul running out. Yes, and we are, as I say, we are being liberated, and it's all like, hey, we're all
yeah,
out. But yeah, no, it was just the fact that was just saying the fact that 13, sorry, 10 years prior to that, I was dressed as Chewbacca, and then that was a dream, and then just say keep hold of your dreams, and these will happen, and then say yes, it was a dream come true. The fact that I was actually a Wookiee on screen, so, yeah,
that that's. I mean, I don't know. I just um, when I look at it, it's just that liberation just could have so much meaning, especially for tall actors. Um, and this kind of goes back to the documentary the about you guys, and like questions that you're asked, and the things that you have to go through
Yeah.
uh, daily basis. That it's just you come out of this, and you just get that celebration thing. It just, I mean, it's so profound. And yeah, I can't even imagine what it would be like to have that moment.
Well, yeah, I didn't realise it could be meaning that as well. I suppose yes, you're right. It because we do get a lot of comments about our hikes, and a lot of it is just rubbish that they spout. So, I mean, some comments are nice. They're saying, "Oh, it must be really nice being tall," and you think, "Well, actually, yeah, it is good being tall. I like being tall. I prefer being tall than being shorter." But growing up, when I was 10 years old, I was already 5'10", so I was a lot taller than most of my friends, and in fact, some of the teachers at school. So obviously, I would stand out, and you'd get your not very nice people saying horrible comments to you, and it would make you feel that you feel enclosed, and you feel sort of like, well, should I be this tall? Should I be who I am? And you make you feel worse to yourself. And you shouldn't listen to it. It's hard not to listen to it because you get bombardment every day in some cases. So the fact that I can now turn around and say, look, my height has helped me get these roles in Star Wars, and it's helped me get me roles in other films and TV stuff, TV work. Then it's something to be proud of. And if you have a problem, then it's your problem. It's not mine. I'm not gonna worry about you if you give me bad comments and things. I just literally rise above it. It's a kind of phrase, but it's just it is what it is. I'm happy to be the tall how tall I am, and if it gives people confidence to go out there and say, no, well, I'm taller than average. I'm taller than my friends. If he can do it, then why can't I? So if I can help one person, then I've done a good job. But saying that, you're saying about the height. Again, going back to smoke for a second. Um,
Mhm.
I've got a slight curvature of the spine, and I thought I wouldn't be able to get the role. And I was sitting in the throne, and I distinctively remember the AD going over to Ryan Johnson and saying, "Ross has got a curvature of the spine. Does that matter?" And Ryan said, "Oh no, don't worry, we'll give Snuffy curvature." So I changed the actual body shape of the character uh, to compensate the curvature. Um, so that's something for me to be like, guys. You know what? If you've got a curvature, don't let it stop you what you want to do. It didn't stop me. In fact, it added to the character. So, and now that character's got a piece of me for all eternity. Uh, and even all the figures, like the Black Series figures, Elite figures, illustrations, anything to do with Snoke, has always got a curvature, and that curvature is my curvature. So and that's fantastic. So again,
Wow.
um, it doesn't matter who you are and what shape you are. Don't let that stop you from doing what you want to do. So, and I've met a good few people with the same sort of curvature, and they're going, I don't know how I'm going to get on. And then I explain that to them, and they say, well, then they go, well, thank you. That's actually made me feel a whole heap better, and they give them confidence. So it's just great. It's great to give back, and it's great to be, part of, movie making history. I don't know. Yeah, cool.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, wow. That's and I know that uh, I've met and talked to a couple of other actors, and how they always leave a bit of themselves in the role, but that's even above and beyond just a glimpse into a person and having that mark on them, but to have it reflect physically Wow, that's
Mm.
mind blowing.
Yeah, it's it's been stated that it made Snoke have that more of a aloof sort of creepy type of feel. So okay, I mean I'm not no way near my creepy or anything like that, but it's just if it adds to the characterization of the character, then so be it, and it's fantastic. Yeah, so it's just cool. It's a really good feeling that after all these years of having a coach, because my spine grew quite at a fast rate than the rest of my body did, and that's what caused it. And probably the fact I didn't stand up straight enough as much as I used to. And I always remember my mum and dad always saying to me, you know, stand up straight, Ross, that sort of stuff. You're going to end up with a curvature. And okay, I did, but it's. I guess if I didn't have the coach, then then the Stoke wouldn't have looked different. So here we are.
So another question that was asked was a question from my daughter, and she was curious about the Wookiee suit,
Okay.
and she wanted to know how hot is it in that Wookiee suit.
Well, firstly, what's your daughter's name?
Kalia.
Ah, hi, Kalia. Lovely to meet you. Right, and thank you for a great question. So you say how hot it is? How hot is it in where you are at the moment, Charlie?
Yeah, I guess she's just she likes to do a lot of different costuming and design and clothing design and a lot of the things that she does and that she puts on. She's oh, it's so hot, and then she had just watched all of the Star Wars movies, and I said, it's like if you could ask, someone that played a Wookiee or played Snoke, what question would you ask? And she said, how hot is it in that suit? Because when I make clothes, sometimes it's really hot in there.
Well, I was just saying, like, if you think about the temperature outside where you are, which is going to probably be, it's quite warm, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a kind of like a weather like this on the set, and we were wearing basically thermal jumpers. It was very hot indeed. The fur was made um, mostly out of synthetic hair, but there were parts of it that were made out of yak hair. Um, so it was hot to wear. It was hot to wear, but you know, you're working with Anthony Daniels, who was C3PO, and he was wearing that in Tunisia. So, you know, if you think doesn't really compete. So, yes, it was very hot indeed to wear the suits, and especially when you're running around and you're fighting or picking things up. It's you know, you get your water, you get your fan in there, and uh, you know, you get moments where you take the head off and you can wipe your brow a bit, and you know, just try and keep cool as you can, and put the head back on again. And you do your thing, and so you know, it's manageable heat. But yes, it was very hot outside. Inside the actual mines, it was like wearing a jumper in a sauna. Um, a woolly roll neck jumper in a sauna, uh, and but the thing is that you're like you said earlier, you're creating movie magic in history. So really, you just sort of like you just literally bear it and you go, you know what, we're doing this for the greater good, and it's going to be fantastic. And here we are running around as Wookiees. So you know, who can really say that? You know, not
Who's
many
going to
people on the
complain?
earth can say that. So yeah, no, it was just fantastic. Yeah,
So I know that Wookiees have their own language, and I know that I've seen a couple of documentaries where, um, like when Peter would speak, he would actually say lines in English,
yes.
and then they would, I guess, go back later and add in that is. Did they do this a similar thing for you guys, or did you actually have to learn some Wookiee and do that on screen?
Well, I think the four of us wanted to try and stay in character as much as we could while we were on the set. Uh, so I think it just adds to the realism, I suppose, of the Wookiees. You know, you wouldn't have if you just spoke in our normal English accents all the time, then it would lose that sort of sense of magic, I suppose. I think we just kind of like just try to do Wookiee speaking to each other to respond to each other, and it actually made the Wookiee more believable, I think, as well. It just you know so, but yeah, obviously when we needed to, we'd come out of character. Um, but when we did it, I mean, I harked back to again going back to 30th anniversary when I was asked to play Chewie. I was walking around and Peter asked me to come over to him, and I did, and he went, "I'll show you how to roar and how to walk like Chewbacca." So and hold the bowcaster and everything. So I was like having a master, the actual the main guy teaching me how do to be Chewie. So when it came to doing it in front of Ron Howard, uh, it was it was just great. It was just great to see. I mean, other people can do a much better Wookiee roar and that sort of stuff. But I was taught that it's not really out of the mouth; it's actually it's more nasally. So instead of going raw, you go and that's kind of how it was. Now I know the Honest probably does it differently, and probably Peter did too. But it's just because it's just how it sounded better for me to do it through my nose. So there we are.
That's awesome. So, how was it working with? You've had a lot of co-stars that have really set the mark as far as Star Wars acting goes. I mean, you worked with Jonas, you worked with Adam and Daisy. How was it working with I guess a marquee name, or I'm sure they're just as normal people as everyone else. How was working with with like the I don't want to say stars of the show, but because everyone's a star on the show, but it's how was working that kind of working relationship with them?
Well, all of them were fantastic to work with. I mean, a lot of them just enjoy doing what they're doing. It's, it's going back to working, making Star Wars history. It's just it's the magic of it all, really. I think it just gets to everybody, and they become everybody. Everybody. I've never ever had any issues working with anybody because they've all been really lovely and friendly and down to earth. And that's the main thing. They're all just going, okay, I'm me, but I'm playing this character. Okay, it's astronomical. The actual character, for instance, for Daisy Ridley, she was a dream, a joy, and so pleasant to work with, and so just an interesting person to talk to. Um, Adam, again, he's a bit more he's how can I put it. When he's in the moment, he's like focused and but he's again we had a very small chat, and it was very nice, uh, and of course Andy Serkis, he and I bringing Snoke alive. I mean there was a third person, an older gentleman, for the facial uh, uh, references. Um, but yeah, just this is getting Andy and I together to do the walk and how Slope was going to move and just to interact. Um, and sorry, someone's coughing in the background. I take it that's your daughter, is it?
One of them, yeah. They're
Oh,
they're
okay.
just now kind of buzzing around the house.
It wasn't a false joke, I promise you. Um, um, yes, just bringing Snoke alive and just talking about his work and how he's like his motion capture stuff and how he was bringing all in the limelight it was fantastic. So yes, working with them, getting to know them briefly, but still having that interaction and it's the memories that you take with you. It's cool.
Well, I guess the reason why I asked that, and I already kind of figured the answer, what it was going to be, but I love your explanation of it. To me, the main thing about Star Wars as a whole is Star Wars is family.
Oh yes, absolutely. No, yeah, Star Wars is definitely family.
Whether you are uh, a whichever role you're playing, whether you're playing the Empire or you're playing the Rebels, or whether you're playing a droid or a Jawa, it
Doesn't matter.
doesn't
You're all
matter,
part of it.
and it is. Yeah, it's about hope, it's about sacrifice, and it's about family.
Yes, absolutely.
And and yeah, it just hearing you talk about it is just, I mean, it's really, really surreal for me, because you've been there on the front lines. It's family for me, and I just sit and at my desk and talk about it with and geek out over it with other people, and yeah, it's just it's so incredible.
Well, thank you. I mean, it is a family. Star Wars is definitely to me. I rephrase it. Star Wars is family because when I've met fans and I've spoken to them, the fans soon become extended family. And you've got the Star Wars family, you've got your own family, your Star Wars family, and then you've got the extended family with the fans and everybody else that really enjoys the films. And I said before earlier that you know for these fans, it makes their experience of watching the films a whole lot bigger, and it's it expands their imagination as well, and they can go off and go, I've met a Wookiee or I've met Snoke, and it stays with them sort of thing. And I'm not sure it's likewise for the stormtroopers and anybody else. I mean, for me, I've now through the conventions I've done, I've met a good few friends that were original stormtroopers on New Hope and on Empire Strikes Back, and I've learned a lot from them as well. Um, and just it just stays with you, and the fact that even if you're worried about something, you can just ring them up and go, hey, Chris, how you doing? Or hey, Alan, or it's just great to uh, have that interaction with friends and family that are part of the Star Wars thing, because that's what brings it all together. Star Wars brings everyone together, and that's what makes the family. Um, and also, and with that, you get to meet the organisations of the charitable groups as well. And if I can mention a couple of them that I've worked with, like Vader's Raiders, for instance. They are a costume group based in United Kingdom that raise money for charity, and I say they're a fantastic people to be surrounded with as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So that's what makes all of it work as a family.
Is that like part of the 501st costuming division, or is that
No,
a separate?
they're separate. I mean, like Pub First, they're great people, and I've done things with them too. But I've done a good few conventions with Vader's Raiders, and run by a guy called Jason Buxton, and also the conventions that we're going to do this year, but obviously the pandemic happened, and sorry, the pandemic even happened, and it's going to stop you. It's a shame. It's a shame for especially for the fans and things, so they can't get out to meet their characters, their characters they like on screen, and the people play them. So, yeah.
Another question I have for you is I know a lot of times after they wrap filming, some people are able to take either props or something special from them, from the movie, like a set or something that they held on to. You worked on 2 movies. Were you able to get something from either of the movies, or that you got to take with you as a memento?
Got lots of memories, that's for sure. Lots of memories. Lots of just um. I think the only thing that I accidentally took with me, and I mean it was accident. I forgot I was wearing them still. Was there's a in fact I was showing her one of the picture actually. Um, yeah, so this is a picture of me behind the scenes of when they did the fight sequence. Uh, so there I am as obviously as like this is like casual dress to Snoke. It's unfortunately a bit blurry picture, but I'm actually wearing blue shoe covers because the floor was really really shiny, and I didn't really want any fingerprint, any footprints on the glass on the shiny floor. So we was all asked to wear these shoe coverings. So after the rehearsal, should we say, or the shoot, I just had them on my feet still, and I just walked into the back to my change room, and it's like, and they managed to get inside the trainer. So, that was that one. And also, though, I think no, I don't recall anything really. It's just maybe an odd loose hair, possibly, but that sort of thing. But as I say, the fact that I've got that picture, because a lot of people thought that Snoke was just completely CGI. And it took a lot of, not convincing as such, but it took a lot of people to think, well, okay, so Andy Serkis was the motion capture, and I was saying to people that yes, I was the only one to actually wear the gold robes. And they go, well, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? And then luckily, that picture emerged, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's actually here!" So, yeah. So that is something that I've taken from the set, So in a way, taken from the set in a way. So yeah, and obviously then any like the behind the scenes pictures of Solo. So again, it's all memories and everything else, and you can pass on to the fans and people.
Well, what's next on the horizon for you? I mean, I'm not sure if they are. I know they're doing some live action Star Wars stuff, but is there any other movies or any other acting jobs that we can look for you in as well?
Well, actually, yes. It would have come out on cinema, but again, because of COVID, a lot of the cinemas stopped. So I think it's released on Disney Plus, but it's Artemis Fowl. I believe that
Oh
came
yeah.
out. I believe that came out Wednesday. So yes, so that was good to do. It was done a little while ago. But it's Artemis Fowl, and just look out for something tall, maybe. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. Hopefully, it's not on the cutting room floor. But I mean, it's yeah. but no, it's yeah, and that had quite a few Star Wars actors in that as well. So um, but it's completely different from Star Wars. Uh, but yeah, no, it's very fun to do, and I really enjoyed myself on that as well.
I know I believe it's out here as well. I was scrolling through the other day and I saw it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's let me put a check mark on it so I can watch it later. And that's probably something I'll watch with the kids. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for you.
It's pure fantasy, uh, maybe a little bit dark, but it's yeah, it's cool, and it's got Dame Judy Dench in it as well, and I do have a little story from that actually, very quick story with that. So um, just before we started doing the scene, she's she's walking with a helper, and she stops and she says, "How tall are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm 7'1". She went, "You're not 7'1". My God, that's very tall. Oh, what a lovely word. What a lovely tall guy you are." That was it. That was my James Bond connection there. But
Wow, that's I mean, yeah. Yeah, wow, yeah, that's
I've been very fortunate to be in doing some things and to work with many lovely people. Um, I hope I've got enough time to just very quickly tell you about my fan, uh, my let's see, my stay shock, but my fan. Uh, I met a certain Mark Hamill on the set of The Last Jedi, and it blew my mind. Is all I can say really. I was sitting on the set eating my lunch, dressed as in the gold robes, making sure I don't get any food on me. And I looked to my left, and I just see this gentleman walk on with a very long white beard, carrying a little white dog. And I said, it can't be. So I stood up, made sure I was all nice and tidy, and walked over to him, and I said, "Mr. Hamill, it's fantastic to meet you, sir." And he said, "Oh, call me Mark. I don't often meet the bad guys." And I was like, it's an honour to meet you, sir. And I went to shake his hand as you would do normally, but as he was carrying his daughter's dog Millie in his hands, and so I kind of reached out, and it kind of looked a bit like creepy like that, and I kind of went and stroked the dog like that, and he said, "So tell me, how do these people see?" And he would talk about the Batarian guards, and I said, "Well, the actors, they could just see through the grills of their helmets." And my brain is now going, "You're now explaining Star Wars to Luke Skywalker." And, and he was like, "Oh, that's fantastic. Well, nice to meet you. I've got to go now." And off he went. And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, and some of the crew was like laughing because they were like, and I was like, I just can't believe it. It's fantastic. And I had the grin on my face, and then Ryan said, "Okay, we're going to go back now." And so he sit back on the throne, Ross, and I still had a smile on my face. And I was like, "Oh, it's lovely." And then, okay, so it's going to be a serious part now, Ross. Stop smiling. So I was like, "Okay."
I can't. Just give me a minute.
just met Mark Hamill. So yeah, that was so. I have been asked, like, if you ever talk about being starstruck, that's the word I'm trying to find. Starstruck. And I said, yeah, yes, I have been starstruck when I met Luke Skywalker himself.
Uh, yeah, I can't even imagine. It's yeah, it's just I've met a few, I guess, celebrity types, mainly musicians, and I was, it was fine. It was normal. I've had a couple of conversations with like Marilyn Manson and
Wow.
uh, um, Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Yeah, we have a family connection. My grandfather did Steven Tyler's first tattoo, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. So he came down to the shop, and yeah, so it was pretty awesome. But I don't, it was a normal conversation. But if I were, to meet, say, like Mark Hamill, I think I'd be just like you, and wouldn't stop smiling for like the entirety of the day, if not week. So.
Oh wow!
Uh,
As I say, I never tire of telling the story because it's something that I'm proud to have happened to me. And it's just again, it's all part and parcel of the your experience on these sets. It's, it's childhood hero, and so just sort of being, I guess, being his adversary, I suppose, is you know. But then obviously Snoke being part of the Emperor, so it's all like, oh, yeah, cool. Oh, it's
that
fantastic. And I actually met Ian McDermott recently at a convention, the recent uh, MCM Comic Con, and I just said to him that I was actually body double for Snoke, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I destroyed you." So, so
that's
I got to meet my creator. So, uh,
and there's not a lot of movie franchises that really allow the character interaction that Star Wars does, whether it's past films or current films or current or future projects. Uh, it just seems, again, with that the family aspect of it, it just everyone seems so warm and inviting and willing to stop whatever they're doing at the moment and have a chat, even if it's for a minute or two, and then hey, appreciate it. I got to move on now, and then everybody goes on their separate ways, and yeah, it's just amazing that we get that sort of interaction. Even just you and I talking, about Star Wars and sharing Star Wars experiences, to me is something that you wouldn't get in another franchise. Um, I don't see a whole lot of, you brought up James Bond, don't, James Bond podcasts. There might be some out there, but it's just not, it doesn't resonate as well as this family does.
no, you're right. As I say, I've been very lucky and fortunate to have met a few of the people from the James Bond films. Well, two of them aren't actually sadly with us anymore, which is Roger Moore and Richard Keel. And I mean, I had met met Roger at a book signing. We had a very brief chat, but it was just lovely. I mean, I would say for me, I know I might be controversial, but for me, he's my favourite Bond. Uh, so other people would say Sean Connery, but I think Roger Moore is. But I met Richard at a similar event, and where you normally have like 5 minutes to chat to them, I had nearly 20 minutes chatting to him because we were chatting about being tall and the like what it's like being a taller person and doing acting in the taller society and everything else. And it was really interesting. And it was like he said, "Oh well, I guess we better go and get a photograph done and everything else because there's a whole line of people behind you." But it was just nice. We could talk about more than just James Bond, but what it's like being a tall person he was a very gentle soul. He really was a lovely guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Star Wars is I think something that whatever happens, I think Star Wars will always be there. There'll be so many stories and so many different avenues of stories and things for time to come yet. So, which is cool. It's great, fantastic. It keeps everything alive. Um, you know, and I hope we haven't seen the last of Star Wars. As, you know, I think it'd be nice for me to see it carry on and carry on. And you never know, it might even do what we're on Bond 23. So you never know, it might be Star Wars 23. You know, so you never know.
Well, we definitely need Solo 2. Is something that I would really push for, and hopefully you'll get to reprise your role and have it be a little more, a little more screen time for you as well. Would that be something that you'd be interested in doing, or?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'd love to be part of another film or to be a Wookiee again. It'd be great. Let's just see what happens. Really, I know there's been a lot of talk and a lot of sort of people wanting it to happen. So it really is up to those who can do that. But as I say, yes, it'd be lovely to do that again.
Awesome. Well, I think we're getting close to the end of the
Ah,
time
same.
here. I know. I would definitely love to have you on again.
Oh, come
You
back.
know, yeah, I've enjoyed our conversation so
Oh,
much.
I've thoroughly
It's
enjoyed it too. It's
uh,
been fantastic. It's been fantastic to
any
actually share stories with you as well. It's been great to. Because some of the things I haven't really spoken to you about before, so it's nice to you know, to spread the word of Star Wars.
yeah. Like when you and I first started talking, I mentioned to you that I know that you've been in two of the movies, but that's not necessarily my goal to talk about that. My main goal is I love hearing Star Wars stories,
Mm,
whether it's just from a personal level or from a working point of view. Everyone has a Star Wars story, and I love hearing it and everyone's experiences. Everyone has different ones, from when they were a kid to when they're an adult, and I love hearing those personal stories. And thank you very
thank
much
you.
for sharing that.
No, thank you. I say Star Wars is. I say that. I mean, I've done other things than Star Wars, but I guess everybody loves Star Wars, which is great. And I've been very fortunate to be a Wookiee. So, um, and obviously Snoke, but it's just for me, you know, to be part of the Wookiee verse, I like to call it. It's something that I don't mind ever. I'll never tire of talking about it, and it's fantastic to meet guys like people like yourself, and I just hope when conventions start up again, it'd be great to meet people in person as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. Would you like to share how people can get in touch with you, either on Twitter, Instagram, or however
Uh,
you want to
yeah,
reach?
well, I'm. I guess I'm a little bit late to the party, as some people say, but I'm now on Twitter as well. My Twitter is at uh, capital W uh, Ross Snoke, but it's spelled Ross as in ROSS, and it's Noke as in so Snoke and Ross Snoke together. So it's Wookiee W Ross Snoke in on Twitter or on Facebook. It's just my name Ross Sandbridge, and they can bring me up there, and then they can ask me what they want, and it's all cool, all good.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for taking your afternoon and sharing it
Hey,
with
it's all right
us.
now. Thank you for letting me on the show. I say it's fantastic to do these, and I hope that maybe to do this again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone that's in the live chat for your comments and questions and your points of view. I really appreciate everyone there. And until next time, may the force be with you.
Well, may the force with you, and we are family.
Absolutely.
Take care.